This is the Forward Motion Business Show with Professor Ken and Professor Paul A Marino. Hit new heights. Start with Forward Motion.
Okay, here we are at United International College. This is the Forward Motion Business Show. I'm Professor Ken.
And I'm Professor Paul Marino.
And we're here in the studio with some of the principals of United International College. So welcome. We have Angelica and Marsala. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
So today what I think we'll do is, we're always focused around how we tie everything we do into business, the forward motion piece. And I know United has an incredible program that focuses on taking a student and maturing them and giving them the experience and the knowledge they need to succeed in the corporate world. So that's great. And by the way, a little disclaimer, I'm also a professor here, so I teach with the student base, so I have a wonderful experience here at the school. So why don't we start with that, if we could, if maybe you want to just give a brief introduction of United International College, who you are, what you do, and why is it important for a student to come here to the college?
Thank you, Professor Ken and Professor Marino, for inviting us to this important show,
Yes.
the Forward Motion, and we're really happy to host you here in our radio station. And yes, you're a wonderful professor. We're really proud to have you as a faculty member of UIC.
Thank you.
So my name is Marsala Moyano, and I am the Director of Communications, Marketing and Media Relations here at UIC. And so basically what I do is that I oversee all the communication efforts, internal and external communications of the college. Entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship is one of the most important values here at United International College. We train the student how to become an entrepreneur. All of the students who are enrolled in all our programs, we have programs in communications, in tourism, and in business. All of the students take a course that is enterprise fair. So all the students get training on entrepreneurship. We create a student with a mindset of becoming entrepreneurs. With that class, they learn how to put together a fair, how to develop the principles of creating a business, and even the communication students who really don't get enough training on the business side of
Right.
But they also are able to create the fair for that course.
Yeah,
So
and I've attended the fairs, and it's great because they actually take these plans, these marketing business plans that they've been working on in some cases for several semesters, and they're able to exhibit it and show it out into the public and get some feedback and stuff. So it really is a great experience for everyone. I think not only the attendees to the entrepreneur fair, but also for them too, that they gain valuable experience. So it's a great opportunity.
Marcella, it's my understanding that you and Angelica too, the college caters to a very specific type of student. What is the mix of your students? They're not local.
No, some of the students are local, but we, as the name says it, it's United International College. So we cater and we bring students from the world. Most of our students, I would say 50% of our students, or maybe 60% of our student body is from Latin America, but we do have Asian students, we have European students, we have students from Africa, we have students from all over the world and representing a lot of nations. Maybe Angelica, who is, maybe you can mention a lot of the countries that our student body now represents.
Well, you said to me Russia. You have students from Russia, from
Yes.
Pakistan.
Yes, we have. I call this a melting pot because we have cultures from everywhere. We have students from Pakistan. We have students from Vietnam,
Wow.
from Russia, from Romania. Right now we're teaching a class in the next classroom, and we have 2 students from India, 1 student from Brazil, and 1 student from Romania.
So that's very important.
Yeah.
So if I'm in another country and I want to learn U.S. business techniques and I want to become an entrepreneur and I want to take that knowledge back to me, you know, it's not easy for a foreign student to come here. Do you help them with all the paperwork and the visas? I don't even know what's involved. Tell us what's involved.
Sure. Yes, we help them with the whole, like from beginning to end, like we become their family. It's important to help them with the papers for the visa, because when the student come on an F1 visa, and that's the name of the visa, F1 visa, they need to demonstrate that they're going to come over here to the United States, that their only intention is to study, and that they want to go back to their country to apply the knowledge that they gained here in the United States. So it's a beautiful process, because when they come, sometimes they don't even know the language.
Right.
So we have an English as a second language program. We make them study, they learn English, and then out of a sudden they're taking business classes. And they're doing presentations about, you know, marketing mix and things that was not even in their vocabulary when they arrived. Even their faces start changing. When you see them, like, and I remember one special student, his name is Tuan, and maybe you had him, Professor. Tuan was incredible. When he came over here, his face was like all confused. He would not understand what we were talking to him, what we were saying to him. Now, this is a student that he is part of the MBA program and speaks perfect English. Now, he has been with us for about 7, 8 years.
Now, does the F1 allow you to go through the masters as well? What is
The beautiful thing about the F1 is that if you really want to take advantage of it, and if you really want to study, the government allows you to stay here.
Sure.
Studying, right? So an English as a second language student finishes their program, and they're allowed to rest for 60 days, and they transfer to an academic program. Once they're finished a degree, let's say an associate degree, they can obtain or apply for an optional practical training, which is a permit, a 1-year permit, where they're allowed to work. And
So
they
you-
have to work. They
So
can,
you actually give them hands-on training. So you give
Yeah.
them the education, and then you place them with a business so they actually get the hands-on
Correct.
practical training from a U.S. corporation.
for 1
and-
year.
For 1 year, and then they're prepared to go back and start their business or
Correct.
contribute to the society from which they came. Now, you mentioned something very interesting. You said this young student came and he didn't speak a word of English. So a student coming from a foreign country who wants to study here, wants to get that experience, and is a little bit timid, if you will, if we could use that word, because they don't have the language skills, you'll help them with the language?
Yes, and that's the beauty of the English as a second language program, that it's not just learn the grammar or learn how to write it. It's learn how to use and love the language. And at the same time, when they learn how to love the language, they learn how to love the culture. They learn their culture. So, for example, right now, the following Monday, we have our Halloween party. And remember, Halloween is very famous here in the USA, but it's not like that everywhere else. Same thing with Thanksgiving.
Right.
This is an American holiday. So
exactly.
what do? We want the students to experience that. We want the students to say, like, okay, I celebrated my first Halloween at UIC. I celebrated my first Thanksgiving at UIC. And they actually do that. So what happens? They not only learn English, but they learn about the culture. And they learn how to be part of this. That way they're not like, probably, I don't know what's the word I want to say, awkward or weird. Like they're comfortable with Americans.
It's a broad training.
Yeah.
It's a broad experience.
And I would say too, having some inside knowledge and being a professor here. So it's not only the English, because there's the SO, the English as a second language, and that's here and there in different places. But what I really appreciate here is because you are built on a foundation of entrepreneurship, on holistic learning, on being able to get into the workforce. the English that, they're not learning where can I park the car. Yeah, they're learning that too, but they're also learning, like you mentioned, the marketing mix, the 4 Ps. They're actually understanding the business acumen. And at times, even in the classroom, when I'm speaking to students that maybe 3 years ago didn't speak any English, they're actually comprehending not only the theory of the business that we're working on, not only the how-tos, but also understanding the
culture,
words, the culture and the acumen of it. So if you say profit and loss, if you say conversions, which we do in digital marketing, so they understand that, and that's a big leap from someone who's just learning a language, but now they're immersed in learning not only the language, they're understanding the culture, and they're learning how to build themselves into a better individual.
Well, look what they go back to their home country, and they go back to their home country with not only an education and a degree, which is very valuable in their country. They go back with practical experience from a U.S. business, and they go back as a bilingual individual.
Right.
So that's quite a portfolio for someone coming out of college. That's fantastic. Now, I understand you two have kind of distinct roles here. Marsala, you're very creative. You pretty much run the communication. So someone who wants to pursue a degree, let's say in television or radio or digital marketing, what do you offer them? What does the college offer them?
So we have the program in business in communications and mass media. We have an associate degree in communications and mass media and the bachelor degree program in communications and mass media. And what we were talking about of the experience, the value of the experience is really important in this particular major, as in all the education of UIC, because we offer an experience. So for example, in the speaking on radio class, the students create a radio show. So they don't only learn the theory, but they also execute the whole process of creating the content, the creative process. So they create the radio show. For example, in the documentaries class, they learn all the theory of how to create a documentary, but they also produce the documentary, and not only they produce the documentary, but they launch the documentary, they premiere the documentary with all the parties involved in the production of that documentary. That actually happens. It may seem like, it's a long process and a very challenging process, but it all concludes with a party. We all say that we like to celebrate here our students here at UIC, and we do because we believe that for all our students, like even the business students who take the drawing course here at the school. We have an art exhibition at our art gallery, and we celebrate their learning because we know business students, they are not very good at drawing. But at the end, my goodness, we're surprised. We're surprised. But Professor Marino, if you take our drawing class, believe us, you are going to become a good artist with us.
I have to take it.
And then we will have an art exhibition where we display your drawings. And we will all come together as a good community that we are, and we will celebrate your drawing. And that's what we are. So that's the creative part of our program, and this is very important because this is experiential education. Like for example, what we were talking about in the ESL program, that they learn about the culture of the United States. That because we also take them on field trips. So in all our programs, not only in the ESL program, that we take them to the Everglades, to all the incredible touristic attractions here in South Florida. We have such incredible jewel here of the world where we live. We live in paradise here in these incredible beaches, right? We do live in paradise. So we do take them to the beach. We take them to the Everglades. We take them to the most beautiful, science museums. We take them to the incredible places. But then for the communications class, for example, we take them to TV stations, to WPLG, to WLRN. So we take them to fairs. For the business class, we take them to fairs, to conferences. So students get the learning not only in the classroom, but also in the field.
Now, speaking of studios, we are here in the college's studio. We're recording in your studio, but I heard that you are building a second studio. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we are, and we're really excited about that. We're building our TV studio, and this is a TV studio that is going to be used for the speaking on TV class, because we believe that students have to get the hands-on experience. So for the speaking on TV class, students have an assignment to interview a community influencer, a community, a member of the community.
Right.
So students already invited these members of the community. They have dates already, and they're going to be interviewed in our new TV studio, and their interviews are going to be broadcasted to this YouTube channel.
Nice.
When do you anticipate that'll be ready?
Yes. Well, the first interview is going to be next Monday.
Wow. So it's ready. It's already up and
It
running.
is ready. It is
I
up
have
and
to get
running.
my name on the list, Paul. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get into that interview chair one of these days.
Yes.
And you know what I think is great, and we've already heard so many examples of how coming here is going to prep someone for this business world. You know, you remember we used to have these technical schools where they teach you how to fix a car, or
Yeah.
teach you how to fix plumbing, or whatever it may be. And you go through that school and you learn the skill, and then you can get a job. You can work in the workforce right after you come out of those schools.
Yes.
So this is one of the only experiences that I found. So in my passing, that you can go to college. Yes, you're going to get the book knowledge, which is very important. But then you have that hands-on experience.
Yeah.
And not only that, the art show, as she's mentioning, and I've had a few of the students in my business class that were now in our art class, and it's quite impressive. They do turn some good work, and I've attended the art exhibition, and it's really cool to see that they go through this process. So they don't just go through the process of business, but they go through the process of all these different things. And instead of just having a piece of paper that says you have a degree, which is important, right? That's what we're all there for too.
Yep.
You can back that degree up with solid foundational work. So you're not a newly minted grad and sitting in the chair and saying, okay,
With no experience.
go on YouTube and scream something. Right. The students that come out of the studio, in the recording studio, they can actually go on and make a podcast. They can manage a podcast. They can write the scripting. They can write the storyboards. That's really a valuable asset that you don't see when you get hired into the workforce. So I think that's one of the main differentiations here in this at United International College and the other colleges that we participate in. So.
And I think that that's a really valid point, because we have that technical aspect of it's hands-on experience, but the critical thinking for us is really, really important. And that's why they get a bachelor degree, and then they can go to even a graduate study with the MBA program. So they get all the general education courses, and again, critical thinking is very important. It's a priority for us, because if they don't get the foundation of critical thinking in a course such as documentary production, they wouldn't be able to produce a really good documentary. So we need students who can have really good critical thinking skills. But then also, part of all this research is based on empowering generations, which is our slogan. We empower generations, and the reason why we celebrate the student is because part of that celebration at the culmination of the semester is a way of empowering the student to see how the student was successfully accomplished that difficult or challenging task.
Yeah, and I think that's the key in anything you do. Paul and I had last week's broadcast, we were talking about how employers can help employees a little better, because in today's environment, maybe the employee wants instant gratification, or they want that success immediately. And Paul was sharing a concept that makes a lot of sense. Well, they should tell the new employee, hey, listen, we're not going to give you the most money possible. But we will teach you or train you how to do something. So if you stick with us a year or two, you're going to have a lifelong skill set that you can have. And I think this program leaps that a little bit, right? So it's easier, I think, for employers to do that.
It sounds to me almost this is like a hybrid college experience. It has the educational component, but it also has a very big component of a hands-on type. So it's really very interesting because you get the education, you get the hands-on experience, and then you actually work as an intern with a U.S. company before you go back to your host country. And you're in a wonderful position to start a business or contribute to a business in your home country, because not only do you have the language, you have the technical ability and the book ability. I think it's fantastic.
And we haven't talked about the holistic education method that UIC follows. UIC has a specific methodology which is based on our holistic education methodology. So our founder, Julio Alberto Moyano, he wrote this model of education, and all our programs are based on this model of education. So we have Angelica, our academic director. How many courses do we have for holistic education?
And thank you for bringing that up, because when we say that, like, we graduate students, we graduate complete human beings, I will say, because they have the skills, the experience, the language. So they have a beautiful resume.
Right.
But on top of, and they work that on the resume with our career services coordinator, just put together. Did you volunteer in this fair? Put it on your resume. Were you part of this club? Make sure you put it on your resume.
Right.
So we're trying to create complete human beings that are good for the workforce and for the society. But on top of that, we give them holistic education classes, which means that we're not only targeting for them to memorize the business regulations, or not only to memorize the marketing mix, but also to be able to understand others, to understand why my boss, or my husband in my case, for example, is so strong. He goes like this, and I'm like, oh my God, is that the hug, or what was that? Well, that's his energy.
Right.
And I have to learn how to understand that, right? So it's very interesting that we give them a personality class where we tell them, okay, this is how you are, this is how these other people are, like the different types of personality where they understand human beings.
Right.
They take an emotional intelligence class, which is called the self-empowerment class. And the self-empowerment helps them identify the aspects of their life that need more work on, and the aspects of their life that are doing great. And it's very interesting, and I'll never forget one of our students, Diego is his name. He was doing a presentation on his holistic being, right? So he says, my financial being is excellent. I have a lot of money. I'm like, wow. Yeah, I have a lot of houses. I make lots of money. Yeah, money has never been my problem. I'm good. We're like, wow, this is a good student. He's doing well. He's doing very well on his business. All right, okay, Diego, next. Recreational being. Okay, we have a problem. Because of the financial being, the recreational being has been left out. Mm-hmm. So I don't have time to go out to a restaurant. I don't have time to go and have fun. I don't.
A workaholic.
Yeah, I just work. All right, okay, we'll have to work on that, Diego. Well, next, your family being. No, honestly, it's a disaster. I'm getting divorced. Like that, he goes on and on. But I thought that was the perfect example of a person who's not balanced yet.
Exactly.
And it's so beautiful to try to analyze that and say, okay, I have to exercise more. Or, okay, I have to pay more attention to my wife or my husband.
Right.
I have to spend more time with my kids. I have to be more time at the office because I don't have so much money, so I have to be more creative and do better things. So the holistic education helps them with this balance in life. Yeah. And with understanding others, which is so important. To me, it's very, very important, because I think once you understand others, I know how to talk to you, I know how to talk to you, I know how to talk to you.
Right.
in the way that you want me to talk to you, because I know what you're looking for, because I can read you, because I understand you. And that's what we try to teach our students. So imagine these students graduating and having great relationships with their employers.
Right. Or and at home too. You know,
Yeah, everywhere.
You talk about the student Diego, right? That
Yes.
he's financially well. He's good with that. Do you know Steve Jobs, right? Do you know
Yes.
do you know how much money he left when he died? All of it, every penny of it, right? So you see my point. You can't take the money. You can't take the money with you. So if and we talk about, remember, Paul, we used to talk about the I spend quality time with my family, or I only spend an hour with my family, but it's quality time, that type of thing. I think now we've evolved, especially coming out of COVID, right? We all had an opportunity to
Absolutely.
spend more time with one another, maybe more
More than what we want to.
in some cases, right? But it was all good. It worked out in the end. But that's it. It's that social connection too, and I think that we call it work-life balance, but it truly is. I think we've come to a reset, and working with, I know you work with a lot of different age groups here. Gen Z is millennials, and even Gen Xers, and some maybe even baby boomers in some cases. They all have different mindsets, different values. What we're seeing now, Gen Zs are really about that. Let's call it the work-life balance. They want to work less and play more. Let's say, right, that work-play balance, and they want it to be quality of life. I think the millennials are getting there now. They're understanding that. Me as a Gen Z, I'm not. I work harder than I have to, I think. And it's not because I want more money. It's just because just the nature of who I am. You can't spend more than $1 million anyway, right? So I haven't hit that yet, but we'll see. But I think the school allows you to do that. You not only develop as a student, as a professional, but you develop as a person. I think that's a quality that you can't learn that in the textbook.
Well, I think it's important not only for your own life balance, but when you go back into a corporate setting, you have to understand the people you work with.
Yeah.
You have to understand their motivation, you have to know their needs, and for an organization to be great, every person has to play their part. Everybody has to buy into the vision, and everybody has to be convinced of the vision. So if someone is unbalanced, as you use the term, they're going to be a disruptor inside that corporation. They're not going to be an integral part, and even maybe worse, they won't be a good leader. So that's very important. Very important. It's a very interesting model you have here. So someone who's seeing this, someone in a foreign country who's says, boy, that's really a unique opportunity. It's something I would like to experience. How do they do that? How do they find you? How do they?
So we do a lot of social media and marketing, and we write a lot of stories. We have a blog. We do programs like this. All the content of our students is posted on different platforms, and that's the way how international students and local students also find us. We also have partnerships with different organizations, and we network also, so that people like spread the word. I think that something that it's really, really important is that our students are happy here, and every time you speak to any of our UIC students, they say, I feel like I'm part of the family. Because UIC,
that's important.
Yeah.
We are a family. So our president is our mother, and Angelica and I are sisters. So we are a family. And I think that family feeling is passed on to our students and our community. Not only the students, but also faculty members and just everyone. Everybody feels like that. So if you talk to anybody, they're going to feel that.
I spoke to your mother, and she is an amazing woman. And within the first 5 minutes, she talked to me about holistic education. That's what she talks about.
Yes.
It's not just the book, it's the whole thing. And I think students I think in some schools, students are missing that, and I think they want that. They
Yes.
want that family. They want to
Yeah.
know that they're important. They want to
Yes.
know that people care about their future. They want that combination of book and
Yes.
practical.
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing model.
Yes, thank you, Professor Marino. I'm teaching the stress management and yoga right now, and I think.
Can I sign up?
You're going to do yoga?
I'm gonna do stress management. I'm gonna leave out.
So it's interesting because I'm doing restorative yoga, and it's a different kind of yoga from the Western type of yoga that you're used to seeing. That you can barely stretch, or so we use a lot of props, and it's very relaxing. And you most likely are going to be able to.
Most likely. You notice that she said most likely. She just said, "Oh yeah, you can do it."
She's not promising.
Right.
Not 100% sure.
She's just a teacher, right?
But anyway.
We're gonna film that.
We're gonna film that.
We're
That'll
gonna
be our
film
next
that.
show. Stand by.
next
Ken's
show.
gonna be-
Let's do that next
We're
year.
gonna do a yoga show.
It's a yoga show. It's a meditation show. But what I've seen, my experience teaching this class, is that there is the need. The students are so happy. This is an online class. It's an asynchronous online class.
It's online.
An asynchronous online class. And
She doesn't see the
I don't
students.
I never see it.
She never sees the
It's
students.
an asynchronous online class. But what I see from the students when I read their comments and when we communicate is that there is such feeling of completeness when I see when they share their experience, and it's so rewarding to see that after every practice they just love. It's just a human necessity.
Right.
It's like we all need to connect in that way. And
Yeah,
that's-
that's amazing. So the other day, I don't know, I'm at home, with my wife, and it was one of those days where I normally have good days, but some days are not so
Not
good.
so good.
So something didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. And my wife says, "Oh, you make a difference in so many different ways." And she said, "Like when you teach, you always
Right.
help someone, and that's what we do this for because we
Right.
like all of us here in this
Yeah.
room, we like to help each other and teach."
Mhm.
So I'm just fascinated because it's not just me. I mean, I've been doing this 15 years, and I'm actually here. This month, I think, is 3 years. I'm
Yes.
part of the family. So, but what's incredible is that their whole family and this whole institution does that. They make a difference in so many different, unique ways every day, every semester, every year, every student, and that's something to be proud of. And I think that's like a great accomplishment. And I do say I feel like I'm part of the family. So it's
You are.
Because you are. Because you are.
to be part of it. So
You are.
I appreciate that. So, well, I want to thank both of you for coming in. And
That was
It
wonderful.
was wonderful to get to speak to you before. We speak all the time, but it's great to hear some of the key things, that the values and the the understandings that United International College has. So, what's before we close it up? What's in store? We know the studio's coming. What else is coming down the road? What do you have coming for 23?
We have big surprises.
Oh, surprises.
We have
Oh my
Down the road, what
God.
do you have coming for 23? We're almost there.
we have big surprises.
Oh, surprises.
Well, I want to leave it as a surprise. Is it a
Stay
surprise?
tuned.
Okay,
So we have to have them back.
Well, they'll have
them back.
wait, this is their studio. They're going to have us back. Remember how that works? Yes, they're going to have us back.
All right, they're going to take you to the TV studio.
Yeah, we're
so
gonna
you
move-
can
we're
so
gonna
you
move
can-
it to the
Well, I
TV
want to see
studio.
you do yoga.
Yes, I will. Now, she said it's no more seat.
We're gonna make an exception for you.
Yes, I'm going to have to do, what is that, the bending dog? Or back
No, don't worry. We're going to have props.
Okay,
You have to do it.
All right, well, you have some
It's restorative yoga.
aspirin and Tylenol? Is that part of the props? Because I could probably use some
Don't
of that heat
worry.
pack.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
You'll
Yes,
be fine.
will be good. Well, thank you so much. It's so wonderful to have you
Yes.
with us, and thank you for
Thank you.
letting us be part of the family. And of course, this is all done with their sponsorship here at United International College. Paul and I have been doing this now. Well, we started before, just
COVID.
before COVID.
Yes.
Because COVID
COVID.
derailed us a little
Yeah,
bit, but
yeah.
almost going on 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you for that. And this is just part of their giving back to the community, not
Absolutely.
only to the students, but as part of the community here. So thank you very much.
No, thank you for having us. This has been fun.
Yes,
It was.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next show. I'm Professor Ken.
And I'm Professor Paul
And
Marino.
we'll see you out there real soon. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
This is the Forward Motion Business Show with Professor Ken and Professor Paul A Marino. Hit new heights. Start with forward motion.